For me, being an athlete isn't about a set of physical traits. I've worked with enough athletes that have unbelievable amounts of talent, yet it somehow defies their work ethic when they get in the gym or their habits when they step back through their front door. Now, if you realize that you want to look, move, or feel better, and you're prepared to take sensible, small steps over the long haul, congratulations. You, my friend, are an athlete. And in today's video, we're going to go through 10 habits with a free habit tracker sheet at the end. In order to do any new habit is to anchor it to a pre-existing habit. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't remember the last time that I forgot to brush my teeth. So that makes a good habit for us to anchor a new habit onto. So for 1 point in the average to athletic habit tracker, you need to spend some time stood on one leg each day. Now, in order to not forget, we're going to use the anchor of brushing our teeth. Now, I feel like that's going to get dubbed over with something, but that enables us to be able to have a cue, for example, brushing our teeth, the habit, which is standing on one leg, and the reward, that big tick in the average to athletic habit tracker that I'm going to provide at the end of this video. For 2 points, you need to perform a 2-minute push-up position plank. Now, I know everybody can do push-ups and they're so basic, but when we get our hips aligned with our shoulders, as if a drinks tray could be placed on the back, and we push away from the floor, so we're not letting our hips or shoulders sink, that's a different story. If you can't manage 2 minutes, then by all means break that up. For example, 4 lots of 30 seconds. But for 2 points, you need to be able to demonstrate a 2-minute cumulative time on a push-up position plank. For 3 points, we are going to perform 3 consecutive jumps. Now, I read a statistic the other day that after the age of 30, only 5% of adults sprint. Now, having come fourth in my staff sports day and still psychologically reeling over the damage that caused me, this made me think, when was the last time I sprinted where there wasn't a ball involved? Now, horizontal jumping is highly correlated to sprinting, and fast twitch fibers work under the principle of if you don't use it, you lose it. So horizontal jumps are highly correlated to sprinting. So 3 consecutive jumps, boing, boing, boing. And if you want to get competitive, measure your distance for this and see if you can out jump by 3 times what you could jump horizontally for 1. For 4 points, we're going to work on the 4 knots of the body. So that's your shoulders and your hips. So for 4 points, all you need to do is perform a daily mobility exercise of your choice for your shoulders and for your hips. Don't be surprised with the body being one piece that because the body is arranged in a set of slingshots, if you have an issue, for example, with your right hip, don't be surprised to also find another one with your left shoulder. For 5 points, you need to perform 5 bottom-up split squats. Imagine you've got a tray of drinks on your head and you're not allowed to dump these drinks forward as you come up. If you need somewhere to put your hands, place them on the back of your head. We're not allowed to just place them on top of our knees. Habit number 6. So 6 tricks. For 6 points, you need to find 6 different ways of getting down to the floor and back up. You can be as creative with this as you like, but if you're struggling for ideas, have a look at my Get Back Up video, which I'll place somewhere on the screen. Or if you're trying to entertain young athletes, then challenging them to integrate different patterns, such as squatting, or simply learning how to fall and get back up in different ways can be a good way to get those 6 points in the bank. Habit number 7 is, do you eat 7 vegetables a day? Now, this can be tricky, but for example, soups, stews, and even, I know it's lazy, but pre-cut vegetables are easy enough just to chuck into a meal somewhere. This is probably one of only 2 tasks where I'll allow you to get partial points. So because what gets measured gets managed, if you only get 5 vegetables, I'm happy to give you 5 points for that. 7 is a nice magic number, and what this is also going to do is this is going to have a knock-on effect onto your cravings. Most of the time when you're having cravings, you either don't have enough fiber, that's where the vegetables come in, or you're missing our 8th habit, which is 8 glasses of water. So for 8 points, you drink 8 glasses of water per day. Now, the research is perhaps not as solid on this as we'd like, but 8 glasses as a minimum is a good starting point because The center of the brain that controls your hunger and your thirst, otherwise known as your hypothalamus, uh, can get overwhelmed at times. This means that when you think you're hungry, you're actually thirsty. There was a lot of rubbish advice I was given when it came to making weight in my boxing days, but something I still stand by is if you're hungry and it's perhaps an odd time in the day, drink a glass of water, give it 20 minutes. If you're still hungry, have another glass of water, give it 20 minutes. If you're still hungry, you probably are hungry, go and eat something. The hardest habit type that we can do, and I've discussed this in another video, which I'll link down below on habit formation, is stopping. But there are other behaviors that make life easier. It's so hard to go cold turkey on certain food groups, especially if we've got a history of continuously overeating them. It's much easier to start something, for example, fasting, or better yet, increase something. Before you focus on cutting out food groups which you know you shouldn't be indulging in, you can increase the amount of vegetables, you can increase the amount of water, and you can increase the amount of protein that you're eating. I'm not a nutritionist, but increase those three things and watch all of a sudden that magically you're not craving the foods that you say you're craving. So for 8 points, 8 glasses of water, ideally I'd probably say about 250 milliliters, shot glasses don't count. For 9 points, this is one of the harder tasks. Are you getting 9 hours of sleep each and every night? There's a saying that the hours before 12 count for double, and I would agree that most people don't need to learn how to sleep. They need to get into a sleep routine. I can't stand these things on Instagram that talk about the 5 a.m. club, overrated book, by the way. For me personally, I'd much rather see people get to bed earlier than wake up earlier, but that's for another video. So 9 points if you manage 9 hours of sleep. And finally, to hit the Big Ten, you need to score 10 out of 10 in what's called the Brazilian Get Back Up test. I'm going to show you a video. The perfect score of 10 means you get down to the floor, having crossed your legs over without using any hands for assistance, and you can get back up again without using any other body parts for assistance. Now, if you want the habit tracker, you can drop me an email via platformtoperform@gmail.com, or if you're shy, learn to use the print screen tool and steal it. When I first started lifting, I could never have imagined that I would manage a 200 kilo deadlift. With someone who's got a love for big, juicy, round numbers, I also couldn't have envisaged that I'd be here telling you that I'm going to celebrate hitting 200 YouTube subscribers. As of the time of recording, my best deadlift is 225, and I've competed at a national level, and my YouTube subscriber account is 10 below that at 215. If you get anywhere in life that's worth getting to, your first realization is, damn, I wish I'd have started sooner. So to celebrate reaching the 200 subscribe mark, and thank you to all of those of you who already have subscribed, I'm going to be giving you a 1 week free trial of my Patreon. In my Patreon, you'll find access to all of my ebooks. That includes the Hypertrophy Handbook, The Science of Muscle, Ripped and Ready, and the Pull Up or Shut Up ebook, which I'm using to help me work towards my goal of a one-arm chin-up. Now, I'm removing the price tag in order to help get you started, because when I finally started working with a powerlifting coach, I went from just starting out lifting weights to then competing at a national level, deadlifting 3 times my own body weight. So with no money involved, for my 1 week free Patreon trial subscription, you've got nothing to lose. In order to gain access to all of my ebooks, all you need to do is go to the link that I'm going to put in the description. You'll get access to a 1 week free trial, download everything you can, cancel within the week to have access to